I want everyone to first appreciate that Robot Cloud is built first of all for Forget Computers. We built it for ourselves, and it's not an alerting system in the sense that we're trying to generate as many alerts as possible. We really only want the alerts that are important to us and our end users. And so we put a lot of time and effort into building this out, and it's an ongoing process. We're always looking for feedback and improvements. So some background on why we want to alert in the first place. When we think about servicing the customer, what does the customer see? In many cases, they see our dashboard on the web, which everyone here has access to if you're a Robot Cloud customer. They see self-service on the desktop, and they see support menu in the menu bar. The customer sees certain pieces, but there's a lot that goes on in the background that they don't see. And those are actions or automated policies. And we have over 100 of those and growing, and they're mostly invisible to the end user. So what we want to do is bring those to the forefront with notifications or alerts. Alerting is the name we're currently using, but we're trying to transition to notifications simply because Apple, to align with Apple, Apple calls their alerts notifications, and they use Notification Center. And if you read the Apple documentation, Apple talks about how notifications let you know what's up. And that's exactly what we want to accomplish with alerts. We want people to know what's going on. We want to make them aware, not just the customer, but also the IT department or the support desk. So we've decided to do that by running our alerts through our ticketing system. Our ticketing system is Zendesk, although you could take out Zendesk and put any number of ticketing systems in its place. And some additional benefits that we get out of Zendesk is we get a historical reference and automated reminders. So historical reference means that we can search through all of the alerts, and we use a serial number to do that. So I can take a serial number, search in Zendesk, and find a history of alerting for that device. And then automated reminders means that in some cases, people are busy. They don't have time to act on a notification, and we want to gently and periodically remind them before closing the issue. And Zendesk allows us to do that, and most ticketing systems will do the same. Let's look at the anatomy of a Robot Cloud notification or alert, because they all have the same structure. And the first part is why this alert? Why are we sending this notification? In this example, we're sending it because Time Machine has not run in over 5 days. Next steps, every notification has a next steps where we try to offer suggestions on what to do about this problem. Let's be clear, not everyone is going to read this far. They're going to read why this alert and pretty much stop there. Hopefully, if they have any questions, they will respond and say, what do I do here? And in fact, we say right here, if everything is connected but not working, consult with your IT team. That would be, if they're your customers, that would be you. If they're our customers, that would be us. But the goal here really is just to see if we can help, and if we can't, encourage them to reach out to us. The last part, the details, is really for you, the IT provider. It's going to give you all the information you need to determine next steps as far as where's this device located? Is this a huge concern or an emergency concern or not? And then we've got the serial number there, which is what I mentioned we can use to track and search on. So that's what the alerts look like. What notifications can you expect? And we do have a chart online at forgetcomputers.com/robot-cloud-tech-specs, where you'll see a very long list of features built into Robot Cloud. And we're trying to get better at communicating what is built into Robot Cloud. And it is a challenge for us because we're busy, like you are, in building and using Robot Cloud. And we're not always stopping long enough to document everything that this system can do as we add more features to it. But for the sake of this conversation, we're talking about email notifications or alerts. So you want to pay attention to the little symbol here of the mail icon. That means you're going to get email alerts. And then the support menu icon is for end user alerts, which is a more advanced alert, which we'll talk about in just a second. So let's jump out of here and go to the web browser. And by the way, before I show you a list of all the alerts in Robot Cloud, briefly, there is a page in our knowledge base, our help center. I'll try to get a shorter URL for you so you don't have to quickly write that down. But we have some videos Chad and I did for the Jamf Nation, and mine in particular goes into much more detail on alerting, not only at Jamf, but also I did a video for Zendesk, a video and a blog post. So all of this has some great information on the history and background and the behind the scenes of alerts. But we're not going to go into that right now. We're just going to review our Robot Cloud alerts. So this is a Google Doc that you all can get to, and I do have a short URL for that in the keynote. I'll share that again. And we're going to make this more accessible. I understand it's a little hard to get to. In fact, if you didn't know it was there, you probably have never seen it before. It's a list of all our current notifications. We've got the name on the left. We've got the frequency. Some of them run daily, some of them weekly, some of them every 4 hours. And some, as we list here at the end, are only run manually through self-service. The scope, it may include all Macs. It may just be notebooks. Battery status, it makes sense to only include notebooks on that. Workstations, the boot drive verification, we would not want to run that on a server. So we do not, we only run it on workstations. And then in the case of Time Machine, obviously we're only going to alert or notify on that if someone is actively running Time Machine, or in the case of Carbon Copy Cloner, if they're actively running Carbon Copy Cloner. So all this is nothing that you need to do or configure. It just works, which is the entire goal of Robot Cloud. In addition to your standard notifications, we have a feature called inline ticketing. Inline ticketing is a great feature because it allows us, if supported, if a ticket is created, say for battery health today, and the battery is still not fixed tomorrow, we don't want to create a new ticket and now we have 2 tickets. We want to just update the existing ticket. So inline ticketing allows us to update an existing ticket. And you can see in some cases, like an event, an Apple Care event, that's only going to happen once. So we don't need inline ticketing. Battery health is supported for inline ticketing. And then memory errors, we've got if memory is installed or removed, we do create a ticket. And if that problem continues, that ticket gets updated. And then we have plans to build in inline ticketing for a handful of other notifications. And then lastly, Zendesk integration. Now, Zendesk is not required to use any of these alerts. I'll show you that in a minute. But we add some extra features if you do use Zendesk, and that is the ability with support menu to deliver your alert directly to the end user, which means you don't need to know about it. You don't need to process it. And the Apple Care, once again, is a good example. It's going out of warranty, and if it's in the first year, it could be renewed. Or if it's more than 3 years old, it's just an FYI. Your machine is going out of warranty. That's something that IT doesn't need to be involved in. That's something the end user should be aware of. And if they have questions or concerns or they need your help, then we want to encourage them to reach out to you. Now, there are certain situations where we do want IT to know about this problem. And in those cases, admin account additions, you got, for security reasons, it's good that your team knows if an admin has been created on a machine. SSH attempts or failed attempts would be good for you to know. And then, of course, the self-service, which typically is initiated by a customer or by one of your engineers or techs who is either remotely running self-service or at the customer running self-service. And there's an option to open a ticket, and you want to know about that. So these are notifications, but they're set to open, so you can respond to them. These are silent if you're using Zendesk and support menu. And then we've got the description with some more details. And I do hope to have a much cleaner page in the future, but in the meantime, this is a great resource. Okay, we just discussed this, and the short URL there is the frgt.co zendesk.com/rc-notifications. And I'd mentioned you don't need to use Zendesk, and I want to talk about that just briefly. If you are using support menu, in our situation, we deal with our customers directly. We use Zendesk. They're using support menu. We know who they are, so we'll deliver directly to them. However, if you're using Zendesk, we can do the same thing and deliver to your Zendesk. And we are looking at in the future, adding additional systems. So if you're using a ticketing system other than Zendesk and you'd like to see Robot Cloud integrate with your ticketing system the same way it does with Zendesk, please reach out to us. It needs an API, which a lot of ticketing systems have today, and we can investigate that. But worst case, if you're not using Zendesk, we haven't built it for your system yet, we can still deliver to any email address, and that is your Robot Cloud alerting email address. That's the email address that you give us when we onboard. That can be changed at any time or updated at any time. But at that point, you're getting the notifications and choosing what to do with them. Whether you alert your customer or not is up to you. It's entirely flexible. Our system is built to work with all of these scenarios, and we hope to add future systems. That is the end of the alerting presentation. Before we answer Q&A, I want to mention that at forgetcomputers.com/what's-new, we try to post new things that we're working on. And this is actually something we haven't posted yet because we're behind in our documentation. We have a new energy saver settings where the end user can change the settings through self-service. And we've given them 3 options: the most efficient, the most powerful, or the Apple defaults. And the reason for this is we were getting a lot of questions about how to change things, or machines were going to sleep too frequently. And we decided, let's give our users some options that they can take care of on their own. And we found that with our own customers, this has been very welcome. This reminds me that if you have ideas for alerts or notifications, please let us know. Because anything we can do to add value to the system that will benefit everyone is fantastic, and we will build that free of charge. If it's a notification that you need that is very specific to your organization, and we can't find a business case or use case for it outside of your environment, then it may be custom, and there will be an extra charge. But it could totally be worth it, because a few hours of paid customization to get hours and hours of automation is a great thing. So let's see. I'm going to jump out of this for a minute, see if we do have any questions. I see some people saying hi, and thank you. Thanks for the feedback, guys. So let's see, a couple questions. Can I control any of the alerting variables? And today the answer to that is no. We cannot change it. The settings are for everyone. However, we are working on having the ability to change the alerting variables in the future. And I can't give you a time frame on exactly when that would be, but that is the goal. And let's see, can I turn off notifications? And currently, no. You cannot turn off notifications if you're in the Robot Cloud system. It's all or nothing, but once again, we are working on building ways to give people the ability to turn some things off. The good news is all of these alerts are thought through very well, to the extent that we're not just trying to bombard you with a bunch of nonsensical information. There's a valid use case. These are valid alerts. Yes, when you onboard into the system, you maybe feel a little inundated with a barrage of new alerts because you're brand new to the system. But those will quickly calm down, and you're going to be able to manage only those alerts that are important to you. And that's something we work very hard at, because we've been in those systems where we've gotten way too many alerts to the extent that we just ignore them. And that's not something we wanted with Robot Cloud. We wanted the ability to get only what's needed. So once again, I appreciate everyone joining, and thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Talk to you later.